The power of letting go. What if the heaviest thing we carry is something we can't even see? What if the pain we hold onto is unhurting anyone else, just burning holes in our own hearts? And what if true freedom begins the moment we choose to let go? Chetra looked like she had it all together. She was a young professional working in a bustling city, surrounded by glowing screens, busy streets, and dreams that raced like traffic. From the outside, she was a symbol of success. Educated, independent, always moving forward. But inside, she was fighting a quiet war, not with deadlines, not with co-workers, but with a heaviness that never left her shoulders. Though she smiled at the office and responded politely at family gatherings, there was a deep ache beneath her calm surface. Friends had turned distant, family ties had frayed, and worst of all, the words spoken in anger, years ago, still echoed in her memory. Her past wasn't a story she told. It was a weight she dragged, a silent burden stitched together by bitterness, misunderstandings, and wounds never healed. Every joyful moment felt dulled, like listening to music underwater. Every compliment sounded hollow, as if it couldn't reach the parts of her that needed healing. Chetra wasn't living, she was carrying guilt, carrying resentment, carrying ghosts. One evening, when the city lights felt too bright and her heart too dim, Chetra wandered into a nearby park, a place where trees whispered, and the noise of the world softened. She sat alone on a weathered bench, hoping the breeze might lift the fog inside her. That's when Yasoda appeared, an elderly woman with silver hair pulled back and eyes full of stories. She sat beside Chetra, not like a stranger, but like someone who had waited to meet her all along. She glanced at Chetra's furrowed brow and said gently, "You look like someone who's carrying too much in a bag that was never meant to be yours." Chetra gave a faint smile, the kind that hides more than it reveals. Yasoda continued, "Can I tell you a story? One that changed the way I see pain." "Many years ago," Yasoda began, "there was a girl in my village named Mira. She was bright, talented. She had a spark in her spirit that made flowers feel shy. But she also had a fire in her heart, one that burned too quickly when she felt wronged. If someone hurt her even slightly, she'd hold on to that pain as if it were precious. She stacked every insult, every betrayal, every cold glance, like logs on a fire, waiting to ignite. One day, during a village festival, she had a silly argument with a friend over a misunderstood joke. It was nothing, a moment meant to pass. But Mira couldn't let it go. That night, she lay awake, replaying the words. Her thoughts twisted the moment into a storm of revenge. By morning, she was still furious. As she walked past the dying embers of the festival bonfire, she picked up a small piece of coal, still warm, still glowing. She clenched it tightly in her fist, thinking, "I'll throw this at her when the time is right." And so she wandered the festival, hiding the coal in her hand, waiting. Hours passed. Her target never came close enough. But her anger didn't cool, the coal stayed. And so did the grip. By sunset, she looked down. Her hand was blistered, red, shaking with pain. She had held the fire too long. And in that moment, she realized something. Her friend, she had moved on, laughing, dancing, unaware. But Mira, she had burned herself. She dropped the coal, and it hit the dirt with a hiss, not of revenge, but of release. The scar on her hand stayed for years, a reminder that holding on to anger doesn't punish the person who hurt us, it punishes us. Chetra sat still, her eyes locked on the ground, but her mind wide open. Yasoda looked at her and said with a gentle firmness, "My dear, so many of us are holding burning coals. We call it justice, we call it memory. But in truth, it's pain we choose to keep. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending you weren't hurt. It means choosing not to be hurt over and over again by the same wound." That night, something within Chetra cracked, not broken, but opened. For the first time, she saw her resentment for what it was. A coal, a glowing ember she had clenched too long. And though her scars were real, the fire could still be dropped. From that day forward, she began the quiet practice of letting go. She forgave not because they asked for it, but because she deserved peace. She reached out to old friends, not to erase the past, but to reclaim her future. She spoke to her parents not through blame, but through the longing to rebuild. Little by little, the bitterness dissolved. The air around her felt lighter. Her smile became real. Moral of the story, we all carry things that no longer serve us. Grudges, regrets, old pain. But the truth is, we are the ones still holding the coal. And we are the only ones who can choose to let it go. You don't let go to excuse the hurt, you let go to stop the hurting. Because healing doesn't begin when others apologize. It begins when we decide that our peace matters more than our pain. If this story resonated with you, Take a moment today to ask yourself, what am I still holding on to? And what could change if I let it go? If this message spoke to your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Whispers Within, where stories heal and silence transforms. Let someone else hear this story today. Maybe they're holding a cold too. And remember, letting go isn't the end, it's the beginning of freedom.